Good evening, everyone. This is Michael Reeves, and tonight we are going to bring you an autumn wind playoff contest between the Seattle Seahawks, the defending champions of the league, against the Houston Texans. The Seattle Seahawks are coached by Dennis Crowley, and Nathan Bailor is the head coach of the Houston Texans. The Texans finished 11-5 this past season. I believe Dennis was 14-2 this year and is the number one seed in the conference. Houston defeated Michigan in their opening round of the playoffs, and that's how they are here. So let's get this one started. Again, it's the Seattle Seahawks against the Houston Texans, and Houston will open up with the ball, 1st and 10, at their own 25. This is autumn wind and Stratomatic football. This league has been in existence for years and years and years. Dennis Crowley has been quite successful these last few years, but Houston has been in the playoffs for the last several years, so this should be a good one. Nathan Bailor is a quality coach, as is Dennis Crowley. So on the first play, we're going to see a deep shot to A.J. Green, and it is incomplete. So we're going to open up some cards here so we could take a look at that. That was on the defensive card. No chance for a catch, but there was a chance for an interception, but the ball falls to the turf. It's now 2nd down. And here's a pickup of 7 yards. That's for Lamar Miller, the real-life running back for the Houston Texans and running back in this league. For the pretend Houston Texans. Here's a 3rd down run, and that's a pickup of 6 yards and a 1st down. For the Texans, they have the ball at the 38. We're just in the opening minutes here of this autumn wind contest. Nathan Bailor and his Houston Texans going up against the defending autumn wind champion, Seattle Seahawks. And that's another nice game. That's 3 runs in a row for Miller. That time he picks up 13. And it's another 1st down. Here's a pass attempt that is caught over the middle. And that is quarterback Dak Prescott, who completes the pass to his tight end, Ibram. Seems we missed the results of that last play. All right. Well, it's 2nd down and 10. With the ball at the Seattle 38. And that was a flat pass with an interception chance, but it falls to the turf. It's now 3rd down and 10. With the ball at the 37. Houston comes out in a 3-wide set. Of course, that's Prescott, who's under center. Lamar Miller is in the backfield. Prescott is not in the pistol. He is a pistol quarterback, but he is under center here. So maybe we see a run. Oh, there is a deep shot to A.J. Green, and the pass is going to fall incomplete. So it'll be 4th and 10 at the Seahawks 37. So it looks like the drive has stalled. And look at that kick, 54 yards away for Greg Zuerlein, and he puts it right through the pipes. And so Houston has taken a lead very early in this contest, 3-0 over the Seattle Seahawks. So again, Seattle is the defending champion of this league. Last season, an unprecedented campaign in which his club won all 19 of their contests. 19-0, a perfect 3-0 in the playoffs, 16-0 regular season. First time that has ever been accomplished in the league. So a few times in this game, we're going to have to jump in and out of this. Unfortunately, there is a bug in this program that Stratomatic says that they're not going to fix until next year, unfortunately. And that is when the ball sails into the end zone and the receiving team chooses not to return it, the game freezes for spectators, which is very annoying. So I'm going to try to anticipate it by jumping out before the game freezes so I don't miss any plays. Unfortunately, the game will I'll have to do this every single time, but hopefully we didn't miss too much here. And of course, we missed a lot. So my apologies. Again, the delay is it's a very much a nuisance. But we pick up the action here. Seattle has moved the ball all the way to the Houston 24. And now it is 1st and 10. And there's a run for Alex Collins. It's a pickup of only 2 on the play. We could take a look at the box score here in just a moment and maybe try to pick up what exactly happened there. But again, sorry about that. I have to remember the key and try to jump in and out more quickly next time. Here's a pitch that'll only pick up 3 yards on that play. Again, that is Alex Collins. It's now 3rd down and 5 for Seattle, who trails 3-0 to the Houston Texans. Dennis Crowley is the coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Nathan Bailor is the longtime coach of the Houston Texans. Seattle finished 14-2 this year and is the overall #1 seed in the conference. Houston finished 11-5 and defeated Michigan for the right to play in this contest. They won 27-17 last week. Here's a 3rd down pass, a nice double team there. Pass intended for Deshaun Jackson, but it falls incomplete. Nathan Bailor double teaming Deshaun Jackson. So now on for a 36-yard field goal attempt is the ageless Adam Vinatieri, who puts it through, and the game is tied at 3. So Seattle answers back on Houston's opening drive. So again, let's see if this kick, if it winds up in the end zone, I'm going to try to jump out of here so we don't. Okay, well, nothing happened there. All right, so there was absolutely nothing, which is good. There was no freeze, so that's fine. We lost a little animation, and I guess that turned out to be a blessing. So we're halfway here in the first quarter. Houston and Seattle knotted up at 3. Here's a pitch to Lamar Miller. He's been quite busy early on. That's a 6-yard pickup for Miller. And there is another run, and that one again is Miller. That's another 6-yard pickup. That's a 5-yard gain, and that's another 1st down. Miller already with 5 carries and 37 yards for the workhorse running back for the real life and pretend Houston Texans. Quarter is flying by. Here comes a quick pass. That is caught, but it's a loss of 1 on the play. And that pass went to Bryce Butler. Here is another quick out, and that's going to pick up some yards. In fact, that'll pick up 15, and that will net another 1st down for Houston, who's been pretty successful so far moving the ball. There's a 15-yard reception to tight end Vernon Davis, and they've once again made their way to midfield. Here's an off-tackle run for Lamar Miller. He stopped for no gain on the play, and the Tom Cook special, the dreaded 5. Again, guessed wrong by Seattle, but this time they catch a break. 2nd down and 10. 2 tight ends set for Houston. We've seen that a lot. Seattle showing blitz on the play, and with a linebacker in the zone, Miller is hauled down for a 5-yard loss. So now it's 3rd and 15 for Houston. This will be difficult to secure. Dak Prescott is not a good deep thrower. His guess right short pass card is not very good either. But there's a lot of must runs on there. And here's a third down pass, and it's caught. And would you look at that? A 17-yard reception once again for Vernon Davis. And that is another first down. Wow, that was a difficult one. Here is a deep shot to A.J. Green, but the pass falls incomplete. That's the second time that Prescott has looked for Green deep, but the pass falls incomplete. Dodged a bullet there as far as an interception is returned. 2 through 6, 11, and 12 chances there. Here's a second down pass that is complete. And again, this is Vernon Davis, who's caught 3 passes for 39 yards. It's now 3rd down and 3 at the Seattle 31. 2:24 remaining here in the first quarter. We are knotted at 3. This is one of 4 autumn wind divisional playoff games. Seattle 14-2 is hosting Houston, who last week defeated Michigan 27-17 for the right to play in the divisional championship. Michigan put up a great fight. As a matter of fact, Houston scored the last 17 points of that game to come away with a win. There is a quick pass for 15 yards and another first down on a defender short gain, a defender extra short gain. Reading of 5 pops up, and that is another catch for Vernon Davis, who has been outstanding this first quarter. That's 4 catches now for 54 yards. And here's another pass for Prescott, and this one's going to pick up 8 yards, and look who it is, Vernon Davis. 5 receptions here in the first quarter. 62 yards receiving, 73 total for Dak Prescott. 62 of them have gone to Vernon Davis. Here's a pass, and it is caught for a touchdown. So Dak Prescott looking sharp here in the first quarter finds A.J. Green. For an 8-yard reception, and Houston has scored in both of their 2 opening drives. Well, how about that? Again, it didn't skip. I was getting ready to jump out of the game, and it did not skip. That is a touchback. Houston up 10-3 have scored on both of their opening drives. Now Seattle has their chance. And here's a run for Alex Collins, but he dials up a 5. A 5 will get you 0 in this game. If you're not familiar with Stratomatic, basically a 5 guessed right or guessed wrong never winds up being a good outcome. And Tom Cook, a longtime Strat player and longtime broadcaster, and the reason why some of us actually got into this game was listening to Tom Cook. I heard him say time and time again the dreaded 5. And so it still sticks with me to this day. Nice call by Nathan. He keyed on the running back, Alex Collins, who lost a yard. So now it's 3rd down and 11. Russell Wilson under center. He trots out Thompson onto the field, who is a great 3rd down back and an excellent weapon out of the backfield. We have a spectator that has joined. When the playoffs roll around, we broadcast these games. I have been a broadcaster for the last several years, Tom Cook as well, and Dennis Crowley. So there's 3 longtime players, and sometimes we have some other coaches who will join us and do a little color commentary. Sometimes we all broadcast together. But this one is just so late. It's actually 12:30 on the East Coast. This game is not going to finish up until probably 2 o'clock. Hopefully my work will not suffer the next day, but we'd like to have all the autumn wind playoff games, as many as we can, to broadcast, to keep. So that is a 3 and out. Nice call by Nathan Bailor as he double teamed Greg Olsen. Pass was intended for Olsen and it falls incomplete. So Houston will take over as we've just now entered into the second quarter. Houston, 11-5 during the regular season, led by Nathan Bailor, is leading 10-3 over the Seattle Seahawks, 14-2 in the regular season. The defending autumn win champions, coached by Dennis Crowley. And so far, so good for Dak Prescott, who has been excellent this first half, 9 of 14 for 93 yards, and that's another completion. So that's 10 completions in the first half. And his big target has been Vernon Davis with 6 catches for 74 yards. Here's an off-tackle run for Miller, and that is a pickup of 6 yards. Defense guesses wrong on the play, but it didn't matter. It was on the defense's card. 0 linebackers in the zone. Second down and for another run for Lamar Miller, but he's chased down in the backfield. No linebackers, just a fine play. By who? Let's see. Third down and 6. Ball at the 40. Pass from Prescott. Receiver double teamed on the play. So rather than trying to pick up a few yards and maybe settle for a flat pass to get it close for a field goal, instead Bailor decides to go for the throat. Defense correctly double teams on that play. And now Nathan will be forced to punt. He is going to pin Seattle deep, very deep, in fact, all the way to the 4. So a nice kick there. Good coffin corner kick. So Seattle will take over deep in their own territory. Ball at the 4-yard line. 11:24 to go here in the first half. Seattle trailing 10-3. Dennis Crowley and his Seattle Seahawks coming off the heels of a perfect 19-0 campaign, never before accomplished in autumn win, so they're looking for another title. And there's a run for Alex Collins, pick up a 5. It was not easy sledding for Dennis, hardly at all, in fact. A very tough game against the Chicago Bears, in which he pulled the game out in the final seconds, and then a 7-3 win against the New Orleans Voodoo, who always sports an excellent defense. And so here's a run for Alex Collins. He picks up nothing on the play. 7 carries so far for 21 yards. Second and 10, ball at the 21. Seattle comes out in a 3-wide set. Defense counters 3-2-6, leaving the middle open. He does bring one of those safeties into that spot. There is a run for Russell Wilson. And a loss of 1 on the play. So now it's third down and 11 for Seattle, who's trailing 10-3 here in the first half. 9 minutes to go here in the first half. The winner will head to the Final Four of the Autumn Wind playoffs. Third down, 3-wide set, pistol formation. Thompson again in there. Here's a pass to, looks like Deshaun. So that play stops short, making it 4th and 6. Seattle chooses to punt and flips the field. Houston will take over with their ball at the 24. That was a pass to Deshaun Jackson that fell short of the first down. So Houston will take over, winning 10-3, leading 10-3, They got the kickoff to begin the game. And there is a pass that falls incomplete. That was intended for Bryce Butler. Nathan Bailor and I actually pulled off a trade. Butler was on my club to begin the season, but I dealt him for a third-round pick. Didn't have a lot of catches in real life, but he's a very strong deep threat card, a surprisingly good deep threat card. This is the first chance I've had to see Houston play this year, and I didn't know how much playing time he got. I didn't know that he was actually starting. I thought he'd be more of a specialist back. So that's the third deep shot that we've seen in which Prescott is targeting A.J. Green, and that pass again falls incomplete. Prescott's guessed right long pass card leaves a lot to be desired. That's the second time in a row in which Houston needed to pick up either 4, 5, 6 yards on third down, and they decided to take a shot at it. Again, if it's on that defensive card and the defense pulls that free safety up to maybe flood those zones, when you got A.J. Green going deep, you'll take your chances with him on guessed right. Pretty decent guessed right card, if I recall. So, but they've been on Prescott's card, which means it's pretty much going to be an incomplete pass or worse. Nice call on a correct double team there. Russell Wilson was looking deep. But the pass falls incomplete. Here's another deep shot to Golden Tate 2 times in a row. Dennis is going deep for Golden Tate. Pass falls incomplete. He wasn't double teamed this time. No man in the zone. Defender X or long gain. If the defender was able to make the play as the white dive was only a 4. He is being guarded by a 5. So another lengthy third down for Seattle. And they are not going to make the play. In fact, there's a fumble on the play. Who's going to come up with it? And fortunately, Seattle will come up with it, but they will be forced to punt. So Russell Wilson is sacked and fumbles, but they catch a break as they're able to come up with that fumble. And we seem to be losing animation here as Houston will take over at the 17, which looks like that's actually where they were punting from. Lamar Miller with a 2-yard run. So let's see if we... Again, it seems to be skipping this, and it doesn't really have in the play-by-play what exactly happened. But anyway, Houston has taken over. It's 3rd down and 12 at the Seattle 19. So we seem to be missing some special teams plays here, animation-wise. As we mentioned early in the game, when kickoffs go into the end zone, the game freezes and you have to jump in and out. Now it has not, but now it's completely skipping whatever's happening on special teams. So it makes me wonder if the one that we totally lost, perhaps that was a long gain. I'm not really sure. And on this one here, there must have been a long punt return, but it's really hard to say because we didn't get a chance to see that animation. Or perhaps the punt was blocked. It's really hard to say. That is quite frustrating as well. Anyway, back at it here. 3rd and 12. Ball to Seattle 19. Houston is up 10-3. Certainly in scoring position. And it looks like they're going to have to settle for a field goal, as that was a 3rd down run for Lamar Miller. They go backwards a yard, and now Greg Zuerlein puts this one through, and Houston extends their lead to 2 scores. It's now 13-3. Seattle will get the ball to begin the second half. And they have 3:34 to do something here to close out this one. That one sails into the end zone, and again, we don't have a stoppage of play as Seattle will take over on their own 25. By the time you get to this Elite 8, you've got a lot of clubs who have won 11, 12, 13 games. So they're pretty evenly matched, especially the top 8 in this group. you can pretty much say there's a reason why they all got here. They're quality coaches and they've got good rosters. But I'd be remiss to say that right now Houston is pulling off a bit of an upset when you're up against, number one, a 14-2 club in Seattle, a repeating champion in Seattle, and one of the elite coaches right now in Stratomatic football, Dennis Crowley. So Nathan Bailor has to be just smiling from ear to ear with the performance of his club here in the first half, up 13-3. And now it's 3rd and 8 for Seattle. 3 minutes on a running clock. I formation here for Seattle, and defense counters with a 3-3-5. So Nathan chooses to flood the zones, and instead, here comes a shot by Russell Wilson, a 13-yard pass, and it is caught. And that is to Chris Thompson out of the backfield. Guarded by a 4 on the play, but it was on Russell Wilson's card. So now with the ball at the 40-yard line, Seattle looking to do some more damage. There's a run for Chris Thompson. Guessed wrong, but it only picks up a yard. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Seattle does have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. They're trailing 13-3 to the Houston Texans. With 2 minutes to go here in the first half. The winner of this contest advances to the Final Four of the Autumn Wind 2018/2019 championship. There's a pass reception for Golden Tate, but he fumbles the ball, and again, Seattle makes the recovery. So that's an unfortunate break for Seattle. They fumbled twice here in the first half, but they've been able to recover both. Seattle will hustle up to the line and go ahead and snap a play here. They did not use a timeout, so 1:37 to go. Crowley and the Seahawks preserving their timeouts. So I formation, that's Zach Miller at fullback, and that is Chris Thompson behind center, and that is a pass to Chris Thompson. That's one of the favorite targets for Dennis Crowley. He's on numerous teams for this club. Low usage running back, but he's excellent out of the backfield as a receiver, and that's an important weapon in the modern NFL. You want those receivers who can go short and sometimes go long, especially if they're guarded by 4s. That's a very valuable matchup, and Dennis likes to exploit that. Running clock still. So again, you get the benefit of a great receiver out of the backfield, but when it comes to running the ball, especially in the hurry-up offense, you can't get him off the field, and if you're going to run with him, that's the kind of thing that happens. He has a very pedestrian running card. Kind of chunky, though. If you look at that 2 and 12, he's got a short gain and a 61. There's a pass over the middle that falls incomplete. 2 men in the zone for Nathan. Nice call. That'll bring up 3rd down. Ball at the 30. Vinatieri already has a field goal in this game, but he's not very accurate with deep kicks. So we have a few spectators that have actually joined. Anonymous spectators, but a few spectators nonetheless. So it's 3rd down and 9. Ball at the Houston 30. Seattle trailing 13-3 in this Autumn Wind Divisional playoff game. Houston 11-5. Seattle 14-2. Here's an end run for Russell Wilson. Defense guesses pass. It is guessed wrong, but Wilson only picks up a yard and makes his way out of bounds. Just missing those 3 short gains in a row. So Houston dodges a bullet there as Vinatieri trots on to kick a 46-yard field goal. And that kick is through. So Seattle is successful in chopping the score down to 13-6. Houston has all 3 timeouts remaining as they were getting ready to receive this kick that hopefully we won't lose. Well, there we go. We lost something here. I guess it goes into the end zone. I guess you catch a break there that you don't have to keep logging it out of the game. But, heaven help us if he takes this thing back for a score and we won't know what happened. Anyway, ball at the 25-yard line with 30 seconds remaining. Let's see if Houston decides to take a shot downfield. Or does he play it conservative, just go into the half knowing he's got the lead? Here is a slant pass to Vernon Davis, intended for Vernon Davis. It's been Prescott's favorite target. And he catches it and picks up 9. He will call timeout to stop this clock, and that'll leave him with 22. So Davis in the first half, 7 catches for 83 yards, 7 of Dak Prescott's 11 completions have gone to Vernon Davis. Prescott just so here in this first half, 11 for 20 for 114 yards and a score. His 1 touchdown pass went to A.J. Green, who he's thrown 3 bombs to and is 0 for 3 so far, but it does loosen up the defense, makes you think twice. A.J. Green, Bryce Butler, Sammy Watkins there in the slot. Vernon Davis is the tight end. And here's a square out pass. That will pick up 5. It's really not going to matter if it gets out of bounds. It's going to stop the clock here with 15 seconds. That'll leave him 1 timeout to go. And with the ball at the 39, he's going to have to start thinking we got to throw this thing way downfield. Only 1 timeout remaining. Defense 3-3-5. Again, 3 wide set with Vernon Davis at tight end. That is Lamar Miller in the backfield. So a sideline pass to, look at this, a short gain. White die 6, so that's a nice break. And he's able to get out of bounds on top of that. So triple award score there for Sammy Watkins. A white die 6 gave him a short gain, which is equivalent basically to 0 man in the zone, short gain. And that's a big short gain. Hard to call it short, 19 yards. That's just what the doctor ordered. So with 8 seconds to go, still too far for a field goal, 59-yard attempt, although with a variable field goal, I guess anything's possible. But this is a play in which Houston's going to have to find their way into the sidelines. Now, Seattle probably will flood the zones here. 2 tight ends set, so he does have that he does have a safety that can basically move anywhere. You get that free double team. Here's a quick out to Vernon Davis. It is caught, but it's in the field of play. And let's see. That leaves 1 second left. Will that give him the chance at another play? I guess it will. So this will be a deep shot down the field. I guess that's strat math. I was under the impression that he did not get out of the field of play. But for whatever reason, they're getting one more shot at it. Here's a pass to Sammy Watkins. He makes his way out of bounds, but that's going to end the quarter. So rather than going deep, he decides to throw a short pass. The 2 teams are going to talk a little bit here before the half, and I'm sure they're going to jump right into it. So your score at the half, Houston, with the upset so far, leading 13-6 in Seattle, right now beating the defending Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks. Dennis Crowley coming off a perfect 19-0 season. They're facing off with a very tough customer in the Houston Texans. No one sleeps on Nathan Bailor. This guy's a good coach, and he always has a quality team. And he's going to be a tough out, you can tell. This is not going to be an easy one for Dennis. So we're back at it. The kickoff apparently went into the end zone, and so Seattle will take over at their own 25. That's a 6-yard pickup for Collins. Actually, that's Thompson. Thompson is in there now. That's 4 carries for 10 yards. It's now 2nd down and 4. Here's an inside run for Thompson. He picks up 2 on the play. And it's now 3rd and 2. Thompson probably will stay in the game. Let's see. No, in this case here, Alex Collins comes into the game. So let's see. The obvious play here would be a run, but let's see if Dennis crosses him up. I formation with Zach Miller in the backfield. Alex Collins. Here comes an off-tackle run. Defense gets his pass. The defensive end is able to make the play. It only required a 4. So a nice call by the Seahawks, but this time the defense comes up to bite him, or probably more appropriately, the white die 4. So Seattle, and again, we are seeing vintage Dennis Crowley as he is going to go for it on his own 33, 4th down and 2. This could be a turning point of the game if Seattle is not able to convert here. But he's going to take a chance. Dennis does this often. He is not afraid to go for it inside of his own 50. But Nathan has to be licking his chops here. A stop here could be huge, absolutely huge. Here's an off-tackle run. Defense guesses run. Alex Collins, can he pick up 2 yards? And he does, and then some. A long run for Alex Collins. He goes all the way to the Houston 32. And what a roll. So a 2 on the defensive card required the nose tackle to make the stop, and he's unable to do it as a white die 6 pops up. His nose tackle is a 5, so a tough break for Houston, who made the right call. But again, sometimes the dice are your friend, and sometimes they are your foe. And there's a pass that falls incomplete. On that 3rd down play, Seattle made the right call. Defense called pass, but the defensive end was able to make the play with a white die 4. So any defensive end, nearly any defensive end, could have made that play. In this case here, nose tackle 6 could not make the play. On 2nd down, that pass falls incomplete. That was another deep shot, but it was guessed wrong. And as you can see, so that's a very, very nice card for Russell Wilson. But the pass falls to the turf on a pass that was intended for Chris Thompson. Again, and that's a running back who can go deep, and they're trying to exploit that matchup in which he is defended. I believe by a 4. It might be a 5. I'll look at that a little closely. And that pass falls incomplete too. So on the heels of that 36-yard run by Alex Collins, they can go no further than the 32. And now Vinatieri is looking for another field goal, but this one goes wide. So Houston successfully dodges a bullet, and they're going to have good field position here at the 39. Again, Vinatieri, quality kicker, but once you get beyond the 30, it gets a little dicey for the oldest player in the NFL. He's unable to come through. Dennis is asking for a break here. So Vinatieri is 2 for 3 on the game. Earlier he hit a 46-yarder, but he's unable to connect on that 49-yard attempt. So Houston with the lead, up 13-6. We're 3.5 minutes into the second half of this Autumn Wind Divisional game. The winner goes to the Final Four. Nathan Bailor, 11-5 on this season, punched his wild card ticket last week, defeating Michigan 27-17 in a comeback victory. Nathan scoring the last 17 points of the game. Seattle with a bye, and they are hosting today. 14-2 on the season. Perfect 19-0 champions last season in Autumn Wind. So Nathan comes out with a 2 tight end set. Again, this Dak Prescott under center. He was 11 of 20 in the first half. Lamar Miller in the backfield. His wideouts are A.J. Green and Bryce Butler. Tight end Vernon Davis had 7 catches in the first half. And that's Eric Ebron, who at the time was with the Detroit Lions and had a nice season this year with the Indianapolis Colts. There's a run, gets wrong, but he only picks up 1 on the play. And that's Lamar Miller. Miller, 12 carries so far for 41 yards. Dennis runs a 4-3. He's showing blitz on this play. That's a flat pass, but it stopped immediately. In fact, the pass falls incomplete. So now it's 3rd and 10 for Houston with the ball at their own 39. Excellent field position after Adam Vinatieri plunked a 49-yard field goal. But if they can't pick up 10 here, they're going to hand the ball right back to Seattle. Houston up 13-6 in this divisional playoff game, Autumn Wind, 2018-2019 season. Three wide set, defense counters with the 3-3-5. Here it is. Pass to Vernon Davis, but this time he's unable to make the play, and Houston will turn this ball back over. Johnny Hecker, the all-world punter. So Houston has both the Rams punter and kicker. It's a good one. 50 yards. It will be picked up at the 10, and there's a nice return of 14 yards for Alex Erickson from the real-life Cincinnati Bengals. So Seattle will take over, trailing 13-6, ball at their own 25. Here's a run for, that is Chris Thompson. And that's a pickup of 4. So he has 6 more carries before fatigue starts to take over. Here's an end run for Russell Wilson. This is going to pick up some yards. How many yards? Well, 11. How's that? So again, that's one of those high numbers. You got your boxcars and you got your snake eyes. And in this case here, 11 or 47. Fortunately, defensive end 4 is all it took to make that play. Defensive end 5 is easily able to make that play. But if you've got a 6, there's a 47-yard momentum buster. That's a 3-yard pass from Russell Wilson over to Golden Tate, who had a fumble earlier in the game. In fact, Seattle has had 2 fumbles in this game, but they've been able to recover both. And there's a flat pass to fullback / tight end Zach Miller. It's now 3rd and 2. We are midway through the 3rd in this divisional playoff game, 13-6. Houston over Seattle. Seattle with the ball in Houston territory, ball at the 48. Here's a quarterback sneak for Russell Wilson, and he is able to motor through, pick up 3 yards, and move the chains. First down with the ball now in Houston territory. Sorry about that. I guess it was in Seattle territory, the 48. Now it's at the Texan 49 on a running clock with 6:36 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Russell Wilson doing whatever it takes to move those chains. And there is a quick pass to Greg Olsen, and it falls incomplete. So Wilson is having a pretty pedestrian day, 9 of 19 so far for only 105 yards. And this time he's going to be sacked. He holds on to the ball. He did fumble earlier in the game. So a sack on a pass that was intended for Golden Tate never made it that way. And that play was made by San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers Melvin Ingram. So third down, ball at the Seattle 43. Third down and 18. Dennis already has gone for it on fourth down once in this game on his own 33. So he's not the kind of guy who's going to try to get this in one chunk. If he can get some decent yards on this play, maybe he'll turn this into 4-down territory. Here is an end run. It is guessed wrong. It's a pickup of 9, and that'll be 4th and 9 at the 48. That's a little too much for Dennis to consider going for it, so he's going to go ahead and try to kick this one deep. And that one's going to sail into the end zone. So Houston will take over at the 20-yard line. So they feel pretty good about another stop, maintaining that 13-6 lead with 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Houston looking good so far, calling a nice defensive game. There's a pickup of 4 yards for Lamar Miller. That's his 13th carry. 2nd down and 6. And there's a nice pickup for Lamar Miller, and he's going to get some big yards on that play. That is a pickup of 22 yards. Again, you've got your snake eyes. You're asking a defensive tackle to be a 6, and he is not a 6. There is the 4th deep shot for A.J. Green that falls incomplete. Looking for that 8 on A.J. Green's card, but he gets a 9 on A.J. Green's card. Pass falls incomplete. Here's another white dice 6 reading, and that is a 16-yard pickup. That's a pass again to Vernon Davis. 9 receptions so far for Davis, by far and away the favorite target for Prescott. 9 of his 17 completions have gone to Vernon Davis. There is a pickup of 4 on the play for Lamar Miller as Houston is edging closer and closer to field goal range. Ball at the Seattle 35 now with 2:24 here in the third quarter. Running clock, Houston up 13-6, looking to go up 2 scores. Defender X reading, and this one is caught. So finally, A.J. Green makes the reception. And that is a pickup of 29. So now with the ball at the 6, Lamar Miller up the middle, picks up 3 on the play. So on the 5th attempt to go deep to A.J. Green, he makes the reception. It's now 2nd down and 3. Here's another inside run. Defense calls run. And he is stopped for no gain on the play. 1 linebacker in that zone. So now it is 3rd and 3 with 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Houston up 13-6. Very likely to tack on another score here, but is it going to be a touchdown or is it going to be a field goal? Seattle desperate to try to hold them out of the end zone and hold them at least to do the best they can to hold them to 3. Full house backfield. That's Lamar Miller with Joe Mixon, who has not seen very much action. I don't believe he even has 1 carry. Here is a pass, and it's going to be caught to A.J. Green, his 2nd touchdown reception of the game, and Houston now leading 20-6 over the Seattle Seahawks. And that extra point attempt for Greg Zuerlein sails wide left. But they still maintain a 2-score lead, 13 points up. Houston 19-6 as we have now entered the fourth quarter. Plenty of time. No reason to panic, but Seattle has to start putting the scores together here pretty quickly. As I just said, don't panic, and yet you better score quickly. So I just contradicted myself. Dennis Crowley has won more games than I've ever played. Knows more, has forgotten about Strata football more than I'll ever know. And if there's a guy that can turn this around and get 13 points back, it would be him. But even he has to think, wow, I got to start catching some breaks here pretty soon. Need some momentum. 3rd down and 2. Ball at his 31. 13:48 on a running clock here in this Autumn Wind Divisional playoff game. Houston on the road, looking to spring the upset over Seattle. Here's the pass. It is completed and a pickup of 9 yards. The white die 6 reading comes into play. And that was to Alex Collins, who picks it up out of the backfield. Rather than the Chris Thompson that we know and love. That's another pass, a completion to, there's Chris Thompson. A nice pickup and a 1st down for Thompson. Defense double teams Thompson on the play, but he's still able to make the play. Nice call by Houston, but he's able to get through that double team. 6-yard pickup, 2nd down. Thompson is being defended by his 0, so he's trying to exploit that matchup as best he can. 3rd down and 4. Here's an inside run. Oh, and he stopped big time. So Russell Wilson, they snuff out the run, a loss of 5 on the play, and Dennis feels obligated at this point to go for it on 4th and 9 with the ball at the Houston 47. So defense counters 3-2-6. 3 wide set for Seattle. It's too early to say that this is the ball game, but if Seattle doesn't convert here, it's going to be some very tough sledding if Houston can tack on another score. Certainly they'll get good field position if they're able to stop them. So again, if this isn't the game, this is certainly one of the biggest plays of the game. And Houston is bringing the house on this play. Can Russell Wilson make this play? It's on his card, and the fastball is incomplete. And Houston will take over at their own 47, leading 19-6 with 10:30 to go. And here is a deep shot to A.J. Green, and the pass is it's intercepted. So Houston going for the jugular on that play, and the pass is intercepted. So new life for Seattle as they will take over at their own 38. That's a pretty aggressive call for Nathan Bailor. And this time he dials up a blitz and says, hey, I'm not going to let this momentum get away from me. Not at all. That's a 9-yard loss. The 3rd sack of the day. And again, that is Melvin Ingram. I believe that's his 2nd sack. I don't know who had the 3rd, but that's his 2nd sack. There is a deep shot for Chris Thompson, and that pass falls incomplete. So again, a long 3rd down. 3rd and 19. Ball at the Seattle 29. It's just not been Russell Wilson's day. 12 of 24 for 131 yards. But some nice double teams for Houston with some timely sacks. And again, we're here in the 4th quarter, so Seattle's not going to try to get all this at once. This is going to be 4-down territory, but they've got to complete the first pass. And here is that pass. It is to Thompson, and that pass is going to fall incomplete as he goes deep. And with 4th and 19, Seattle has no choice but to go ahead and punt this one away. So Houston will return this kick in a nice return of 17 yards. Here is a flat pass, but it's stopped 4 yards in the backfield. So Houston, again, took over after a successful fourth down stop. And on their first play from scrimmage, an interception by Seattle, but they're unable to capitalize. And now Houston has to think, we're going to mow some clock on this. And on their first 2 plays, they've taken losses, a 4-yard loss on a pass, and now a 10-yard sack. So it's now 3rd and 24 with 8:06 to go here in the fourth quarter. So Seattle looks like they're going to make the stop here. Here's an end run for Dak Prescott. Nice pickup on the play, but not nearly enough. 7-yard gain for Prescott. And they're going to turn the ball back over to Seattle. This is Alex Erickson, who only musters 2 on the return. But with 6:54 to go, Seattle trailing by 2 scores. Have the ball at their own 25. A must drive for Seattle. So the roadmap is there. Score quickly, stop Houston, score again. They're trailing by 13. Russell Wilson, so many times, has led this club to victory. Sometimes leading, sometimes trailing. Can Dennis rely on him once more? On that first down play, it's a run, but it only picks up 2, and more importantly, that clock moves. It's 6:36 to go. Running clock here in the fourth quarter. 19-6, Seattle trailing the Houston Texans. Seattle trying to defend their autumn win crown. They are very much against the ropes. Another run and a pickup of only 1 yard as the defensive end is able to make the play. White die 4, defensive end 5. So 3rd down and 7. Russell Wilson desperate to convert this. He's already been sacked 3 times. Let's see if Houston brings the heat here again. 3-3-5. They're not showing blitz on the play. Pistol formation. 2 backs, 2 receivers. And here's a deep shot to Golden Tate. There's nobody in the zone. And guessed right, Golden Tate's card, not very solid. So now Seattle will be forced to go for it. 4th and 7 on their own 29, and we can officially say this is the ball game. If Seattle cannot convert here, it's very unlikely that they'll be able to make this comeback. So the comeback begins right here. 4th down. 7 yards to go from their own 29. Can Russell Wilson come up with the magic just to keep this drive going, just to give his club a chance? Here comes an end run, and is he going to be able to contain? Yes, he does. So Russell Wilson gutting it out. His last end run, unfatigued end run, uses it up right now, picks up the first down. So 5:06 to go with the ball at the Seattle 41, trailing 13-6. So the Seahawks are still alive. They're still a pulse. Here is a pitch out, but it only picks up 1. Seattle has had absolutely zilch luck on runs guessed wrong. Although, I wonder, I can't quite tell. I guess I took it for granted. It's very possible that Nathan guessed run on that play. At least it's showing up as guessed right. I don't think they had a 3-wide set. I see a white die 2. Sorry, I missed that call. So nice call for Nathan Bailor as he guesses run and guesses run correctly. So the clock Continues to move. 4:30. Again, another pitch out to Alex Collins, who picks up 6 yards on the play. And again, 3rd down and 6. A lot of time running off the clock for minimal gains. At some point, you've got to start corking this thing deep, you would think. So I formation, defense in the 3-3-5. So how much more conservative can Dennis be with 4:12 to go on a running clock? And here comes an off-tackle draw. And again, the defense is able to make the stop. 2 linebackers in the zone. Wow. Houston smelled something on that play, correctly snuffed it out. Baylor has called a terrific game, and that's what it has taken. Both these teams are talented. Both these coaches are very talented, and Nathan has coached a beautiful game. So a bomb to Golden Tate, and this is pretty much the ball game. 4th and 6, ball at the 46. And it's going to be a long gain. Tate is able to haul this one in. He's to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, 10, 5, and he scores. Look at this. Golden Tate. What a break for Dennis. He dials up a 2. And it's a long gain for Golden Tate, and we have a ball game. So with 3:18 to go here in the 4th quarter, and that kickoff sails into the end zone, and we have a freeze, so I'll need to get out of this. So please, guys, don't call too many plays till I get back into this. So now Dennis Crowley grinning from ear to ear, and Houston has to feel the pressure. As their lead has been cut in half. And that was nice. They waited a little bit for us to get back in. So that's great. Thank you guys very much. So 3:18 to go. Seattle has all 3 of their timeouts. Here is a run for Lamar Miller and a nice pickup there of 6 yards on the play. 2nd down and 4. Houston, who has never trailed in this game, is still up by 6 points, but certainly Seattle now with the momentum. Here's an off-tackle run for Lamar Miller. He picks up a big 1st down, so Seattle's going to have to start. They'll let this one go to 2:06. So Seattle will have 3 timeouts and the benefit of the 2-minute warning. Here is a run for Lamar Miller. He only picks up a yard, and the 2-minute warning will stop the clock. So 3 timeouts remaining. So how aggressive does Houston want to be? 1 more 1st down will pretty much seal the deal. Of course, it depends on when they get that 1st down, but 1 more 1st down that can exhaust those 3 timeouts. But 1 more 1st down could very well do it. Here is a must run for Dak Prescott, and he is able to pick up a 1st down. So now Seattle will have to use a timeout. If Houston runs the ball here, the soonest that would be about a minute. If Seattle could stop them on 3 here, Seattle would get the ball with about a minute. And here is a pass play. Wow, what a call. So defense calls run, a safe flat pass that picks up 7 yards. Seattle calls timeout, and that's now 1:45 to go. as Houston has made their way into Seattle territory, but that's academic at this point. What matters is, can Houston get this last first down, and can they hold on to the ball in the process? One more first down at this point definitely will put this thing away, as Seattle only has one more timeout remaining. So 2nd down and 3. And there's a slant pass. And he is sacked. So Prescott is sacked. Seattle will call timeout here. Now that leaves 1:37 to go. So does Houston just go ahead and run this thing, taking the clock down to a minute, and then with the punt, putting it down to about 45? Or do they risk putting the ball in the air, thus giving Seattle another shot at it, or getting him some extra plays, obviously? They'll get the ball with more than a minute to play. And again, what is Seattle going to do here? Are they going to call pass anticipating and just hoping that the Cards can do the work on Lamar Miller? I can almost guarantee you what we're not going to see here, though, is the 7th attempt at a long pass to A.J. Green. I will run downstairs, count all the money in my wallet, and I will bet it on the next play that we will not see a deep shot to A.J. Green. And here is a sideline. Let's see, what is this? It's an off-tackle run, and Seattle is able to make the play, but Houston accomplishes the one important thing, and that is munching more clock. So with 52 seconds to go, here is Johnny Hecker's kick. Again, Houston up 19-13 on the road, looking to pull the upset on the defending Autumn Wind champions. That's a 43-yard kick. They're not going to take any chances. They're going to put this one out of bounds. So, well, here we are. Seattle trailing 19-13 with 45 seconds remaining. Like a sore thumb, there is that missed extra point from Greg Zuerlein that has to be sticking in Houston's head. But they have everything on their side right now, including a 3-2-6, which undoubtedly, probably will put two people back in the secondary. Seattle cannot screw around at this point. They have to start looking for deep shots. And I say that, and here is a quick pass to Golden Tate, who is actually double teamed on this play. So nice call. And there is a pickup of 20 yards. Is he able to make it out of bounds? No, he is not. Oh, maybe he did. Let's see. It stops at 15. Did he make his way out of bounds? So the double team was to Golden Tate, but the pass went to Greg Olson. Sorry about that. So a nice pickup, a good roll, to be more accurate. 0 men in the zone as the defense double teamed Golden Tate. So that linebacker was moved over. Dennis anticipated it. Nice call. Made all the better by getting a 20. And that pass is going to fall incomplete. So there's 22 seconds left. So we got, if he's able to get out of bounds on every one of these, the max plays we are going to see is 4. 60 yards away from the end zone. Will Dennis opt to go deep here? Deep shot for Chris Thompson. 2 men in the zone. That's a lot to ask when it's on the defensive card. You've only got a shot on a receiver 3 reading. Here's an interception automatic on a 7. So now it's 4th and 10. Things are looking pretty grim here now for Seattle, who has to be thinking about getting the first down and hoping this play gets out of bounds. Or does he just decide to go deep here and say, heck with it, this is pretty much all we can do? So 4th and 10. Ball at the Seahawks 40. Houston looking to spring the upset and to advance to the Autumn Wind Final Four, the semifinals. Here's an off-tackle run for Chris Thompson. Defense guesses pass. Hoping for a miracle here. A high roll for Chris Thompson. Let's see what he throws. A little banter between the two coaches. Let's see what we've got. And here we go. And that is a pickup of 5. He has stopped short. And Nathan Bailor, congratulations to you. The Dragon has successfully been slain. As Prescott is going to take a knee and jump up to throw that ball right into the stands, as they will be headed to the Final Four. Congratulations, Nathan. That is an outstanding game. You called a terrific, terrific game. You should be very, very proud. And you carry a lot of momentum into the Final Four of the very prestigious 30-team league that is Autumn Wind. Dennis Crowley, no shame at all, followed up a 16-0 season, a perfect 19-0 season, Super Bowl season, with a 14-2 performance this year. But he ran up against a very good coach. Nathan Bailor was very much up to the task. He called a fine game. And he emerges as the champion. So congratulations to Nathan, as the two coaches are going to talk. I don't know if Dennis is going to join me or not after this. I will extend the invitation to him if he would like to. So let's take a look at some stats here. I don't know if Dennis is going to join or not. At some point, this puppy's got to go to bed. But there's your final score. Houston goes on the road to upset Seattle. As you can see, they pretty much had the lead throughout. It was tied at 3-3. But again, Houston had the lead throughout. Greg Zuerlein opened up the scoring with a 54-yard blast. That was countered by Adam Thierry with a 36-yard field goal.
Hey.
Hey, Dennis. How are you?
Yeah, that was a good one, huh?
That was a very good game. Nathan called an excellent game.
Yeah, he did. And he in the regular season, he spanked me pretty hard. So I knew this was going to – I'd have my hands full with him. I just Nathan's talked about, oh, like, Dennis has beat me on all these critical playoff games or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he's such a good coach that it's hard to beat him. It's hard to get pin him down on what he's going to do. He's very unpredictable.
Yes, so. Very much so. Very much so. He called a great game. I really don't have anything to add other than that. I mean, I think there were good rolls, bad rolls on both sides. Nobody can say that they caught, I didn't catch any breaks here and there. You guys both caught snake eyes breaks. That the Golden Tate reception, a couple of runs that could have gone either way. Depending on the dice, the white die reading. I mean, there were breaks on both sides, so there was nothing to complain about for that.
And like I said, the regular season, it was like 34-3 or something like that. They really took it to me. It's just sometimes you have a team that's a bad matchup for your personnel. Like,
Uh-huh.
he was strong on the corners, and he, like I said, he calls a great game, and he good against the run or good against the pass, and really that's the way I've been beating teams this year has been by throwing it a little bit. Alex Collins has been pretty good to keep people off balance, but it's hard to catch Nate. Like a couple times I was like, third down running it and he would call it run, or
Yes.
second wrong caught running it and he'd call run, and it would have been like a short gain if he would have called it wrong, but he called it right, so it was negative, whatever. So got to give him all the credit. He's one of the best coaches in the game, and I always tip my hat to him.
Yeah.
And his Rams lost the Super Bowl, so he needs a little joy in his life. It was a good. You're Rams too. You're a Rams fan as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are everywhere. But it was a good run. I mean, 2 years.
Yep.
With I had a long unbeaten streak, 2 championships. It's gonna come to an end at some point. So
I know, and Dennis, I'm sorry, I shortchanged you in this broadcast because all I did was talk about last year's 19-0, and I apologize. You were the defending 2-time champions of this league, basically looking for your three-peat, and I know that would have been completely unprecedented in this league.
Yeah, but it's going to be a little bit of a rebuild now because I have got a lot of holes. I don't have a lot of picks next year, so it was fun while it lasted. Time to get back to making some trades and trying to build for the future, I think.
Right, and it's just made that much more difficult in a 30-team league. I mean, there's work to be done, and it's not an easy. It's a little easier to make moves in a 24-team league than it is 30. There's some momentum that needs to be built that way. But you're such a good coach; you can do so much with so little. I find it hard to believe that next year, if you're not with 11 or 12 wins, I'd be stunned. That's just the kind of coach you are.
No, but I seriously have a lot of holes. I've made a lot of trades for veterans, 1-year guys, and it's over. But what good coaches do is they look for the weak points of the opposition. Nathan, time and again, he was going after my fours. He was using the strengths of his team with Vernon Davis and AJ Green covered by a 4. So he knew what he was doing, and he knew how to attack. And I can't just sit back there and let him do whatever he wants. I got to be aggressive, but when you do that, you're going to leave openings. And I had a couple of empty zones, and his receiver readings worked out well. So, like I said, good game, fun season. I knew I was due to go one and done in autumn wind at some point here.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Trust me, I'm very proud of the job that I did in building this team, and it'll be another couple years before we get back. But
yeah.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the result. There's the man that's destined for his first autumn wind championship, or maybe first online. You won on the cards and dice before. I remember you telling me you had a pretty good run there back before it went online, right, Nathan?
No, I haven't won. I only played a couple years cards and dice. Maybe
I thought you had some championship when you had like some crazy running back combo, or maybe I'm misremembering.
I don't think so. I had online in Frozen Tundra. I won in my 3rd year with Chris Johnson, his CJ year.
And you have like 3 or 4 Spring Fever championships as well. So maybe this will be it, man. This is your year. I'm telling you.
Hopefully.
Hey, Nathan, I have a question for you. Before you came on here, I don't know if you heard or not, but Dennis said that you'd be licking your wounds over the real-life Rams Super Bowl, and I'm also a lifelong Rams fan. Does this make it any better? Because I'm still upset.
No, I mean, it didn't. This one didn't actually hurt as much as the one in 2001. I don't know why.
No, that was awful. I agree.
But the fact that it was such a shutout of their offense was pretty depressing.
Let me ask both of you guys this, because you're both Jared Goff owners in various draft leagues. Are you worried at all about Goff after him, getting a little bit of the yips and not like putting enough zip on that one open Brandon Cooks throw in the end zone? Or is it just one of these, Belichick is a genius, just let it go?
I actually liked how Goff played towards the end. It looked like he just started being a little more decisive. And I also thought there was pressure inside on him all day. Yeah. And I don't know how anyone can function like that. I mean, even Brady didn't look good. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, it was definitely a throwback game with all the defense, that's for sure.
I'd like to think that every quarterback in the NFL can play with a clean pocket. I agree. But it seemed like was relentless just on nearly every play that he had. And again, you could sit there and question the play calling. Why didn't they go short? Why didn't they take advantage? And where is Gurley? Where is his? I mean, you can always counteract that blitz with somebody's got to be open in a place like that. So why not just throw short? But I don't know. I still have faith in him. And I just also want to mention too, to Nathan, that I'm just happy to see a team with Dak Prescott get to the Final Four in anything, because Tom Cook basically blistered me for, I don't know, a month after I picked him over Goff. Tom just doesn't like anything that I do in strap.
I actually have to agree with Tom on that move, to be honest.
No, I'm basically snake bitten in draft. I think the problem is by the time the spring rolls around and I'm in that draft, I lose my marbles, and that seems to be the one where I'm not exactly managing my team very well, to say the least. But I do take some solace in the fact that you took Dak Prescott to the Final Four. So I'd like to think
I'm sure that part of it is he expected you to have Goff and have a worse team and he get a better draft pick the next year.
Could be.
Because that quarterback card was really good.
Yeah, he was
but,
wrong.
I mean, I would have expected that too, because you're building a team. So, but at least it's not. It's like a lot of these picks, like when someone takes a 5, when there's a guy that could be a 6 next year, it's surprising. But they're both going to be. Dak should be pretty good over the course of his career anyway. So
I would like to think so. But yes, the spring league is such a weird one where it's like, are you drafting for this year or are you drafting for next year? Because we have a crystal ball basically with all of the players that we have. It's just such a whopper jaw draft compared to autumn wind. But I don't know how much of this you heard, but Nathan, you were outstanding. You called such a good game tonight. You should be very, very proud. It's a great accomplishment. And buddy, this could be your year, man. Wild card or not, this really could be your year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I don't really feel like this team's all that good, except I do like the pass defense in the secondary. And, I've got some decent skill players, but it's like that in S28 too. Both these leagues, I don't feel like I have that good of a team. And maybe it's just because I don't care as much. Like there's no pressure. It's just now I'm in the championship in S28 and this one. Yeah. Hopefully I can win one more and get to another one.
Yeah, I think part of it is that with no dump off, you can focus on shutting down the pass. And when I was running it, like tonight, I was hitting on your card quite a bit. I wasn't hitting on the short gains on Colin's card or Russell's card. And then you sneak in those run calls, the second and long, boom, call and run, and put me in third and long. Yeah. So you're an excellent defensive coach, and like I was saying earlier, you would attack my weaknesses with your strengths. So you'd go flat to Vernon Davis against the 4, go off tackle against that 4 defensive tackle. You had that one run where it would have been like a -1 or a +22, and you got the +22 because it was a 4. So that's the sign of a good strat coach. I thought you did an excellent job, and this was a much closer game than our regular season one where you really spanked me. So.
Well, I was surprised. I mean, I'm always kind of surprised because I know in S28 last year you did a similar thing as far as I felt like your team wasn't as good as your record either. Like you have a lot more holes than I've faced like a couple years ago when we made it to the championship.
Yeah, you almost feel freer about like selling out and taking chances.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
If there are weaknesses like when Chris Thompson's in the game, I'm only worried about Russell Wilson running, but I'm worried about Chris Thompson receiving the ball and vice versa. When Alex Collins is in the game, you don't really have a good matchup down the field. So I can do a lot of things except for Zach Miller, and I'm not worried because he can only go, like 23 yards or something like that?
29, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so I'm like, whatever. I'll risk it here and there, and
Right. Yeah, that's why that's why I went to heavy to Thompson. I had a couple times where
I liked that move, even though it hurt your running game. I think it was it was limiting to what I wanted to do against the pass.
I was hoping to hit that plus 61, even at the end there. I was like, come on, 61, let's do it.
Yeah.
But you know, you have to kind of make adjustments like that. And I think like I said, I had a couple shots down the field with Thompson where it was like guarded by 4 or nobody guarding him, empty zone. And
you got a zero, or no one was even on it. I think it blitzed everyone.
Right.
I think Doc just miss on that one. I think he might have just missed.
Right. And then I had a couple chances where I could have sacked you at like a 58% chance, and you rolled a 60 or 68 or something like that. And then the times where your sack chances came up, you hammered me with Ingram against Riley Reef. So that's another strength of your team that may get overlooked a little bit. But if you get those pass rush matchups in certain spots, sometimes it's just like that team's not a good fit against my personnel, or that team's not a good fit against our matchups are bad. And I thought that this was a case of that. Even though I may have only lost 2 or 3 games this year in the regular season, one of them was badly to you, and this was not a great team. I just happened to win those close ones in the regular season. I knew this was going to have to be, even if I would have beat you, the next game would have been just as tough. It's like this team was full. It's nothing like the teams the last 2 years where I won the championship.
Wow. I'm looking at his schedule, basically. I guess you split. So you'll take on the winner between St. Louis and the Chargers, and you split your games with them, and you were able to beat the Chargers. But I was also looking on here. You had a tough schedule, actually, this year. You didn't have – I bet you had –
I only beat the good teams, though, and then I lost to Tom, who I think he's got the first pick. I think I lost twice to the Jets, who I don't think did real well.
That's right. Proof that he was not tanking. That's a great one.
I lost like 4 of my games, I think, to teams that were pretty sure were well below 500, and then I lost to Philly. Was the best team that I lost to.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I also saw that you beat Grand Rapids. That's a great team too.
Yeah, that's a really tough team.
Nathan, do you have a preference between the Chargers and the Rams? Who you want to face?
I don't know. Both those guys are pretty tough. My first game ever against my first league game ever in Strat was against Paul, and he beat the hell out of me like 38-3. Norman Hand returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns. I remember Norman Hand. About a 450-pound defensive tackle.
So there you go.
Sometimes when I played someone as many times like me and Dennis and Paul and Gary in multiple leagues, it gets to be pretty tough. You have to I didn't even really try to look at tendencies a lot of these times against some of these guys because there's no point, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Man. Well, gosh, I'm glad you guys both came on. Congratulations to you, man. Way to go. Dennis, congratulations to you too, buddy. That's a ridiculous run in this league.
Yeah, I know that Larry doesn't like to have the statistics for a career up on the website or anything like that. He wants to keep that all on the down low and focus on what's going on this season. But I can't be happy with the job the team's done. And you never know. Maybe I can, put together a Nathan type team and have a bunch of zeros and win 10 games. But it's going to be tough next year, that's for sure.
You know what we need? We need, what is it, Smolinski, Dave? He's like the league historian and can tell us what's happened in the last 30-some-odd years of this league. It's always fun to have him on here. He's been in this forever. So
it'd be nice to have I know we have the trophy, but it'd be nice to have something online with a list of the past championships. So then I can look up to see if Nathan won it in the past, even the stuff that happened before the launch.
I've never won until I started playing online, but I think I played. So I played in 2001 was my first season, Cards and Dice.
Mm-hmm.
That was the 2000 Ravens season. Basically, it was the first card set I played. And then my best quarterback I had was Chad Bennington. So I never. I mean, I made the playoffs a couple times, but
yeah, those guys rigged it. They had all the good players before you joined. That's what happened.
Well, I was doing my thing and rebuilding and starting zeros everywhere too.
Cool.
I've been there. Totally
all right,
been
man.
there.
Well,
I will
congratulations.
see you both with Patrick Mahomes next year. I'm looking very forward to that. So
Yeah, that should be fun. That should be fun. See how he does.
finally, yeah. See what I can do with a quarterback. Man, that was fun. I really appreciate you guys coming on and joining this. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for calling at the last minute. Thanks for staying up late, and I'm looking forward to watching the broadcast.
No problem, man. You all take care. Hey, listen, congratulations to you both. Dennis, great job. Last 3 seasons, awesome. And hey, man, Nathan, buddy, Final Four. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Go win it.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right, see ya.
All right. Well, that will do it for tonight. So once again, your final score. The Houston Texans are moving on 19-13 over Seattle. They will face the winner of the Los Angeles Chargers and St. Louis Rams. We have 3 more playoffs to go this weekend. We will be doing our very best to broadcast all of those contests. So again, for Autumn Win, this is Michael Reeves signing off. Good night and God bless.